Well, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to 2023. Today, it is 1 p.m. in Los Angeles, 4 p.m. in New York, and it is 7 a.m. here in Brisbane, Australia, where the sun is shining today. I'm your host, Rob Nixon, and joining me today, I do believe, is my co-host, Wendy Miller as well. Now, as we get started, as we just get warmed up here, could you open up the chat, please? Just want to make sure you can hear me. Open up the chat down below and just tap in where you're from. So I'm from Brisbane, Australia. Just make sure you can hear me. Okay. Here we go. Adelaide, South Australia. Okay. Edmonton, Houston. Who we got? San Diego, Miami, St. Simon's Island. Renee, good to see you. All right. Stockholm, Johnny's here again. Coeur d'Alene, love Coeur d'Alene. Michigan, Bakersfield, Austin, Texas, Philippines. Oh, cool. Cape Cod, San Francisco, Toronto, Virginia, Sunnyvale, California. And on it goes. All right, team, you can hear me. Someone from Brisbane. Kevin, good to see you, a local. Kevin, you could have come and joined me in the clubhouse here. I'm just down past Sanford, foothills of Mount Nebo, Mount Glorious. That's just for Kevin in Brisbane, who probably knows where I live. Now, team, we are going to be interacting via the chat, and I am going to be doing some things with you today, which are going to help you over the next few months. So we decided a bit ago that we were going to release for free a lot of our content. Not all of it, of course, but a lot of the key messages. And today, I'm going to take you through a couple of tools that you can use, particularly for our North American friends who are about to enter their busy season, that you can use straight away whilst you are working from, February through April 15 or April 30 for our Canadian friends, doing a lot of client work. So let's get into it. Let's get into what we're going to be doing. Get rid of that. So I'm Rob Nixon, your host today, and I'm going to take you through what is going to be hopefully something pretty cool, the way I've designed it, to, well, let's be honest, to make you some money, right? And to reduce your time. So I've been privileged to work in the accounting profession, since May 1994. Okay, look at this face. I get it. I started when I was 10, right? No, not at all. I'm 53 years old. Okay, got it. That's cool. I'll just do solo, Wendy. It's all right. I'm 53 years old, and this year is my 29th year working exclusively with the accounting profession. All over the world, 18 countries, trained about 200,000 accountants, and coached just over 600, written 4 books, been in more accounting firms than anyone on the planet probably, and really worked out what works and what doesn't work. And what we've done is we've put this together into a coaching process that we call AOS, Accountants Operating System. And here's some results you can expect when you implement first year. And I'm going to give you some snippets today that I'm going to test you as to how much extra profit you believe you can make over the next 3 months, February, March, April, by implementing what we're going to do today. So keep your ears on as far as the questions I'm going to ask you. So here's the starting averages. Typically, we're at 1.5 million starting average of a firm. Year one, we typically increase average 21% in revenue, but the profitability is where we shine. Most firms around that 400,000 profit before partner salaries. Our average is 98.4% increase in profitability. Hours down, the starting hours of working in your firm are 1,314 on average, because we track this at the start all the way through. And this is a little bit harder to do, but in year one, our average down is 20.1%. 20.1. Now, our objective with every firm we work with is to get you to more than $1 million profit per partner, while client delivery hours are less than 500 hours. The $1 million profit figure, believe it or not, is easier and quicker, or let's say quicker, than the hours down. The hours down take some time. So we're going to be going through up to an hour and a half today, up till 8:30 my time, 2:30 for Los Angeles. We're going to be brainstorming some ideas on how we can get our time down and our dollars up. If you'd like some of that, just make sure you're listening. Just tap yes into the chat. Yes into the chat to make sure you are listening to what I'm talking about here. Yes, into the chat. If you want some cool, well, make sure you listen in because you are going to get it. Now, I'm going to take on a bit of a journey here. And this journey is all about helping you. We have an agenda for sure. We have an agenda, an unhidden agenda today. And that is we want to help 8 firms right now. We want to help 8 firms right now. We've got capacity. We start firms all through the year. We've got capacity for 8 right now. So if you, and I'm going to do this at the end as well, if you're more than $1 million in revenue now, our cut is $1 million or more, 1 to 5 aligned partners. We're not there to get partners aligned. You need to be aligned already. If you're ambitious and you're coachable, then let's meet to see if we can help. Meeting details are going to be this QR code. So I'm going to use the QR code. Now, we're going to repeat that as we go through. You can scan that at any time as we go through to catch up and see, can we help you? So what are we doing here? And I've got 2 content pieces. I want to show you where these content pieces fit. So I want to teach you 2 things today. And the 2 things are going to fit within the framework of what we call the AOS, the Accountant's Operating System. What is it? AOS, and the way we do it is all about best practice. The best practice way to run your accounting firm. After all these years, after working with so many firms, we've worked out the riddle, what works and what does not work, right? An end-to-end solution to help you reduce personal time, to increase profitability, and to build a more sustainable business. Now, I'm going to show you something that only our personal coaching clients have seen. And this one is a writer-downer and to get you thinking about your business for probably the next 10 years. 1 slide to get you really thinking about your future. And I'm going to show you where the 2 content pieces today fit in the journey with you. So the journey that some of you are on with us direct, some of you have not started yet, is all about your time, your profitability, and your scalability. And depending on your implementation effectiveness and speed will determine how quickly, if you choose to get to the top ladder. So level 1. Level 1 is we have a practice owner, practitioners practicing their craft. You became an accountant, you became a technician, and then at some point in time, you became a partner in your own firm as you started, or alternatively, you joined the firm you're with, and you're still practicing your craft. Now, that's okay, but typically you're grinding it out, working too much in it. You are the practitioner, you're the practice owner. And that equals okay money, but not much time, right? You are grinding it out as a practitioner practicing. Level 2. Level 2 is where you become a business owner. And you become a business owner, it's a different mindset and a different way that you run your accounting business. You spend more time working on it than in it. Michael Gerber in 1986, would you believe, coined the phrase, work on the business, not in the business. Still true today. And you know what I mean? You know, you're the one doing all the work, you're a lot of the work, you're propping the shop up. We get you to business owner status and you're spending less time working in it and more time working on it. Now, what happens here is you get more money and more time, but the journey's not over yet. So once you get a taste of more time and more money, then you start thinking about level 3. Level 3, to me, is the most exciting part of the journey for you in this accounting business. And that's where you become an investor in your own business. You become an owner, not an operator. You become an owner, not an operator. And with this, you create generational wealth. Team, what you do with this year's billable time, what you do with the client hours that you spend in will give you income for this year. It's what you do with your non-billable time that will create wealth for the future. This business you've got, this accounting business you've got, should be a vehicle for your wealth and generational wealth creation. But if you're stuck down on level 1, it's not going to happen. We need to move you to level 2. Then over time, get you out of doing, if you choose to, you may stick at level 2, right? But if you choose to get to level 3, and with that, you've now got an asset. You've got an asset that goes into your estate. This business is structured in such a way that you still own an equity stake in it. You may sit on the board of it, but you're not doing any work in it. Now that is a good asset. You're an investor in your own business. I'd like you to write down those 3 words. By the way, the recording will be available, but if you get interactive and use slides and the recording, by the way, but if you use the time to write things down at the same time, you'll get more out of it. I'd love you to write down practice owner, business owner, investor. Where do you want to be? That is my question for this part of this journey. Where do you want to be? Because this is a progression, multi-year progression. Please put in the chat where you want to be, not where you are, but where you want to be. Because you may want to be just a business owner, right? And keep the business as it is, but you may want to get to investor level. So put in the chat where you want to be. Cool. Investor. Get to the investor level. And, oh, lots of investor here. Love it. Keep it rolling. By the way, the chat is for me, for private. No one gets to see your answers except me, just so you know. So even in the recording, no one gets to see the chat. Investor. Cool. Loving this. Any more? Where do you want to be? It's up to you. Now to 8 years, business owner, 8 to 15 years, investor. Cool. Love it. Yeah, but a thought here, because it does take time, team, to get you out of being the practitioner. We all see the chat. Of course we do, Elizabeth, right? But sorry, you all see the chat, but it's not provided to anyone else that gets the thing. So thank you, right? Investor, absolutely. Right, so how are we going to get there? And then I'll get into the 2 pieces of content. Well, we're going to get there by making some changes. And here is the model. Here is our model of how we help you get there, because you're not going to get there doing the same thing that you are doing today. So we help you, number 1, in operations. So workflow, cash flow, technology, reporting, and systems. Remember, I said it's an end-to-end process here. We have the tools and the training in each of these areas. We help you with time, so effectiveness of time, delegation. We have an unbelievable partner delegation system that will free up your time like you wouldn't believe. Partner time, how you actually spend the time, what we call the 30-60-10 rule, and then using VAs or PAs for time. Clients, so client, who's the target market, the communication process with clients, how you classify clients, the relationship and how you get that, and how you get more loyalty / more referrals from clients as well. Then into team. By the way, these are not in order because some firms start their journey in different pieces. This is just the order of the slide. Team, the right people, structure, performance, culture of the team members, and the behavior of them as well, how they behave. Products. So what are we actually selling here? Product types, are they documented, packaged? Is it scalable, this product? And is there a menu available with less products on it than more? We look at growth. So growth in pricing, growth in client growth in marketing, sales, and M&A work as well. So growth, how do we actually grow this business? Leadership, actually how you lead the business, your operational plan, your alignment of the team, and you getting alignment, vision, strategy, and what I call lasercution. I made that word up many years ago. Execution with laser focus. And then lastly, how do we get momentum in this firm with team engagement, meeting rhythms, solving issues, innovation, and themes? So today, we are going to focus on the growth piece. I'm going to give you some snippets in pricing and client growth, right? So that's the journey is, you want to get to investor level, even business owner level, that takes time. It takes time to systematically change. And I'm going to give you 2 pieces. I want to give you 3 things today. One is a future of practice owner to business owner to investor, to think about that, right? Where you want to be. The second piece, we're going to talk about pricing, specifically pricing for the next few months. And then we're going to talk about client growth, as in how we have client growth in the next few months as well. So first piece of this is what we call pricing for profit. Pricing for profit. Now I'm going to use a simple example. And I haven't timed myself on these slides, but I'm estimating about 30 minutes on this, 25, 30 minutes. And I am going to guarantee something, that the question I'm going to ask you at the start, which is in a moment, and then the question I ask you at the end of this particular little piece will be a different number, and it will equate to a big profit jump in the next few months, just in 20, 25 minutes of education. So I'm going to put my hand on it and say, we're going to guarantee that, right? So question one, we're going to keep it simple. For our USA and Canadian friends, what is the current, and by the way, I want everyone to contribute so everyone can see this. You're right, Elizabeth, we all can see the chat. I want everyone to see the chat of this number coming through to see what everyone else's number is. So today, being the 27th of January in Australia, the 26th of January in North America and or Europe, what is your current price right today of what you're going to charge for a simple 1040 or T1 tax return? Where are you at right now as of today for that price? All right, so what do we got? We got minimum price, 700, 500,000, 595, 500, 650, 600, 300 for Canada, 170, Selena, 1250 is a high, 270, 170 is the low, 1250 is the high, 300, 500, 1250 the high, 750, 600, 650, 1,000, 350. So the low is 170, the high is 1250. Any other changes on that? 300. Interesting. By the way, location's got nothing to do with it anymore. 495 for a basic one, Michelle. Okay, let's stop there. So that's where you're at today. You are at that point today of whatever number. By the way, there's no right or wrong price. I will get my final slide on this piece is how do you know what is the right price? But when I say right or wrong price, there's no right or wrong price for you right now. It is just what it is. Let me take you through some education. Let's see if we can change that number, right? So, first of all, this is the old business practice model, the old business model, which still exists today in most accounting practices. We want revenue. How do we get revenue? We have people power times productive time, as in utilization, multiplied by average charge rates on hourly rate per person, less write-downs equals revenue. And so we either have calculated the price like you just did, minimum price on a menu of services, by a fixed number, but often you've calculated the price by some sort of time and rate system. Took me 2 hours, my rate's 300, therefore 600 type thing, right? And of course, for profitability, less labor costs equals gross margin, gross profit, less overheads equals profit. Now, that has served you okay for years, but there's some problems with this model. First of all, it's predicated on people power. So basically it says the more people we have, the more revenue we can do. Now, yes, we've got plenty of clients out there, but we need lots of bodies. And the problem with that is the headcount goes up and so do the overheads, not necessarily the profit. It's predicated on the productive time. The more hours people put in, the more they can churn out. The more hours they put in, the more revenue get. So that is crazy. How about focused on efficiency, not inefficiency? This is a business model that is predicated on labor. It is a labor for hire business model. Third issue, average charge rate. How did you get to the hourly rate? Well, typically it's been salary divided by worked hours, so call it 2,000 hours. Let's call it $100,000 person, $100,000 person, 2,000 hours for the sake of math, $50 an hour, multiplied by a factor of 3 or 4, voila, charge rate. Now, the problem with that is as the salaries go up, so do the hourly rates, but the profitability typically does not. This model was invented in 1919 by a fellow called Reginald Heber Smith. He first invented it for the legal profession And in the 50s or 60s, the accountants caught on. It's a labor for hire business model. And that is not the business you're in. The business you're in is in the intellectual property selling business. You sell what you know. You sell what you know, and you're very unique. No one can do what you can do because no one is you. That needs to be a mindset of yours. So I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to flip it around, first of all, and go to a profit per client model. Profit per client model. It's all about the structure of how you do it. So the old system, number one, was it took me 28 hours to complete. The applied rate was 175. Therefore, the price became 4,900. We're going to flip this around and change the model. What we're going to do here is we're going to repackage the 4,900. We're going to add some value like phone calls, emails, and meetings, and then we're going to add a price rise as well. And we're going to say, let's call it 61250, 6125, 510 a month, whatever it is, if it's a monthly fee. We've got a fixed fee. Now we are directly incentivized to reduce the time, not work more hours, but work less hours. Let's reward efficiency. Let's not reward extra hours. Let's reward less hours. Let's reward time down. And we have an unbelievable workflow process, which we're not talking about today, which gets time down, as in gets more efficient. So those 28 hours become less hours. So let's say you applied that, and many firms who are current coaching firms here on this webinar do that. Let's say we could reduce that to 20 hours, the 28 to 20, by being more efficient, use of technology, processes, systems, different people doing the tasks, less wasted time, less over-engineering of jobs, and so on and so forth. Now, our average hourly rate is 306. Slight price increase and a repackage, less time, boom, average hourly rate 306. What do we do now? Well, number three is we go back to the client and we sell them something new, 7,500 under value-based fees. Not teaching you value-based fees today. That is a bigger topic than we've got time for. I'm going to teach you some things on pricing to get you started for the next few months. But we have a new project based on the contribution that you priced based on the contribution that your clients get from your help. We use those 8 hours to complete it. It was not based on time. It was not based on hourly rate. It was the price was based on what you believed the client would pay. And our margin on that is 937 average hourly rate. Not all products are created equal for the same margin. Now, the client has a fee of 13,625. By the way, on to line 3, I'm going to teach you that today on how we actually get extra revenue ethically from clients. It's called a gap meeting. I'm going to take you through that today. All right. So now we've got 6250, 13,625 total fee for the client. Now, same 28 hours, our margin for this client is now 486. The margin previously was 175. Now the margin's 486. The total profit from this client is now extra profit is 8,725. You know, just 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I met up with one of our one-year firms, right? And I'll tell you a quick story about Manal and KB. There'll be a case study firm pretty soon. So when I met them just over a year ago, 13 months ago, they had no timesheets. I said, well, how can we measure what we've got? No idea. So let's put some timesheets back in. But I said, let's put timesheets in to monitor how efficient we are. And we'll still monitor efficiency, turnaround time, average hourly rate, but we're not going to charge based on an hourly rate. So we brought in $1 an hour, $1 an hour. And I said, okay, for the first 3 months, I want you to measure the average hourly rate now that we've got timesheets. Sure enough, $180. 2 weeks ago when I saw them, I said, what did we finish at for the year? $337. So we've gone from 180 to 337, one about knowing and two about changing. And I said, okay, this year, how many client delivery hours do you think will go out the door? And we worked, that was 12,000. I said, believe it or not, based on the changes you've made this year, it doesn't feel like it this year, but based on the changes you've made, you will annualize an extra $1.8 million going forward because your average hourly rate has gone up by over $150. You see the magic number here, team. The magic number is the AHR. We call this getting into the M zone. Average hourly rate is quite straightforward to calculate. It is revenue billed over client hours. We did $2 million in revenue. We had 10,000 client delivery hours. Therefore, we had $200 an hour average hourly rate. So how do we move this number? How do we move the margin? The margin is average hourly rate. How do we move it? How do we increase it systematically? Well, there are three things to think about. Three things to move that number. One is the top line price, right? So if you increase the price by 30% and you have no more time, of course, the average hourly rate goes up by 30%. But if we increase the price by 30% and we have a better process, so time down, we get a double whammy. And the third one is the actual product we're selling. Some products yield a higher margin. Many of you got involved in the ERTC credit thing in the USA, in stimulus programs, and you made a lot of money out of that, right? It's a product that yielded a different margin. So we want to move the margin of average hourly rate by price, by process, by product. Price is a different top line price, which we're going to focus on today. Process is efficiency, time down, more effectiveness, which we're not focused on today because that's another workshop again. And the third piece is product, different products yielding a different margin. So let me show you a couple of mathematical tables. I'm not an accountant. I left school when I was 16, but I'm wired up for numbers. And so I thought I'd give you a chart, that was, by the way, fact checked by an accountant from Seattle on a spreadsheet. So here it is. This is called the average hourly rate profit increase effect. So if your current profitability before partner salaries is, and you increase your average hourly rate by, your profit could increase by a different number. So remember, to move average hourly rate, there's the top line price, the internal process, and different product. So let's have a look at this graph, this table. Let's say you're at 40% now profitability before partner salaries. And with price increase, time decrease, and different product, we're able to move the average hourly rate by 60%. So Manal went from 180 to 337. That's about, that's more than 60%. That's 80%, right, in 1 year flat. We could increase profitability by 150%, assuming the same delivery hours, the team salaries and overheads were the same. Average hourly rate goes straight to the top, straight to the bottom. The reverse is true as well. Average hourly rate decline effect. So let's say again, your profit is this, and you increase your average hourly rate by that, then you can afford a decline. Look at this, a decline in revenue or client numbers before your profit is effected. So again, 40%, 60% increase, you can afford to lose 38% of revenue and still make the same profit. You can afford to lose 38% of clients and still make the same profit. Again, assume the same delivery hours, team salaries. So you need to drive this number. You need to measure it like Manal did, not what is it, and then systematically how to improve that with better pricing, better process, better product. So you look at some of your clients. You look at some of your clients right now, clients that you don't necessarily want, the PITA clients, P-I-T-A, the pain in the clients, right? And you might say, you know what? I'm just going to increase the price. And by the way, I've been to North America about 60 times and got back just 4 days ago. And I have noticed, because we had hiatus there during the pandemic for 2.5 years, I have noticed about a 50% increase in effective cost of living in the USA in 2.5 years. Unbelievable, right? And have your prices gone up? Your salaries gone up? Your overheads gone up? Just on straight top line pricing. Guess what happens? You put the price up by 30%, none of them go. You put the price up by 50%, you might get a few who go. But that's okay, because if we go by 60% on a combination of price, process, and product, you can afford to lose 38% and you still make the same money. Interesting. So this average hourly rate, we need to measure it by period, quarterly, monthly, weekly. We need to measure it by product, right down to invoice value. This invoice is $2,000 with 10 hours, therefore $200. This invoice is $2,000 worth 20 hours, therefore $100. Why? By person. Some are more efficient than others. And then by client. This one will blow you away, right? This one will blow you away. Spreadsheet. You can do this now in the next couple of days, right? Because you've got the annual year just finished. Column A. Column A in spreadsheet is client name. Column B, how much that client paid you last year. Column C, hours taken for that client. Column D will be B into C, average hourly rate per client. So if you're at 150 now, the range will probably be 75 to 225. Some of your highest dollar-paying clients may have a very low average hourly rate. Your AHR should increase monthly. Every single month, it should be going up, 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 right? Every month. So with Manal, she finished the year at 337. She'll open the batting at 337 for January. And by the end of this year, could be at 400, thereabouts. Massive transformation. So how do we move this number? What are the sequential steps in margin progression? Margin, being the average hourly rate, is predicated on 6 sequential steps and your value belief and your value contribution. So level 1, and there's a waterline. Level 1 is where we have a simple price charge rate increase, right? So we still price in arrears, we're average hourly rate aware, and then we have a charge rate increase. We just simply put the hourly rates up. That's level, yeah, and your margin will increase. But we're not stopping there. Level 2, we still price in arrears. We now have an average hourly rate target. So at 150, we want to get 170, and we introduce some new services to get there, some higher value product. Level 3, we're starting to peak above the waterline here, where we do some price up front, and as a result of our efficiencies, we get some write-ups. But we're still drowned. We're nowhere near our potential, right? We got level 4, 100% price up front. Every single job, no matter what it is, has an agreed price signed off by a client by email acknowledgement or formal engagement on a fixed price. We've still got charge rates. So often here at level 4, we're fixing the price based on a time and rate system. But we can now be super efficient because we've got a fixed price, we drive the time down, we're incentivized to do so. But it doesn't stop there. We get to level 5 and we understand true value pricing. Value pricing is not value billing. Value billing is in arrears, value pricing is in advance. Value pricing, right? Where we are setting the price based on a few factors. By the way, one of the things you may not be able to see, depending on the size of the your image of me. Actually, I'll make it bigger. This is fun, right? To help you with this, we send you courage pills. Can you see those? Courage pills. Courage pills are awesome. Back to where I was. So, to get you thinking more, by the way, the little inscription on the back basically says, pop a pill before pricing. Value pricing. And now we move to $1 an hour. So we keep the time sheets. We have a time budget per job, and we're measuring and driving efficiencies down. When you get to level 4, everything's priced up front. Charge rates and the mentality of hourly rates are surplus to requirements. You do not need them. You get rid of the hourly rates. You keep the time sheet. We have a time budget, and we have a new metric called time under budget, which is all about efficiency. And we go to $1 an hour or a cent an hour or euro, wherever you're from, just for the sake, so we can measure the time. And we price everything based on a value-based fee. Level 6, this is where we become a subscription business. We become a subscription business, and our revenue is monthly recurring revenue. And now we're getting paid in some months for doing nothing with our clients. This is when the margin increases dramatically. We get to level 4 immediately. If you do any pricing in arrears as of today, we can flip the switch tomorrow for every new piece of work. We can flip that switch. And then the current work in progress that you've got can wash through the system. We're done on that topic. Then, once we get the hang of that, we then get rid of the hourly rates. If you want to go fast, rip the Band-Aid off straight away and go to straight to $1 an hour. And we start in a time budget, not a dollars budget. Monthly recurring revenue takes time. Although we had a firm in Brooklyn, about a $2 million firm, they moved 92% of their revenue to monthly recurring revenue from a standing start of 0 from a standing start of 0 in 4 months flat, moved to 92% of clients, this is September through December last year, to monthly recurring revenue, and the rest were stragglers. I asked Zissy, who did all the administrative side of it, how much time did it take you per client? She said, it took me about 45 minutes, maximum an hour, phone the client, email the client, get the thing set up, get it signed off, about 45 minutes to an hour. Awesome. 92% of revenue is now MRR, monthly fixed fee. So team, we're going to go through a progression of margins, right? We are going to take your average hourly rate as high as you possibly can. But first of all, to do that, we've got a systematic process here. We need to shake off what we call some limiting pricing beliefs, some limiting beliefs on pricing. For example, belief number 1, our rates are in line with others. Well, I had about 50 or 60 numbers come onto the chat, and it was a massive range from 170 to 1250. You should ask different peer groups as to how much they charge to give you a mindset of, you know what, maybe we're too inexpensive. My clients will never pay that. Well, how do you know? How do you know? I'm too busy, I'll just charge by the hour. Yep, and it's definitely a model for coming to a price. Very bad model, because it predicates the time was right, the hourly rate was right, the salary was right, and so on and so forth. And nothing could be further from the truth. What if they say no? Well, awesome. You've got plenty of work to do anyway. And you've got more work than you... There's not a firm I've spoken to. I've just got back from the USA trip, right? Every single firm I spoke to has plenty of client work to do. So if they say no, that's okay. We'll work with someone else. I'm afraid what the client will think of me. What the client thinks of you is none of your business. That's their business. And just remember, it's your business, not theirs. It'll probably take X hours, so we'll charge Y. Again, back to charging by the hour and time. It's a really dumb model. I can get it done really fast. That's the flipping point, team. That's the point. 10 years ago, it used to take you a day. Now with the learning, the technology, the training, the experience, 10 years later, you do it in an hour. Why'd the price not go up? Why even the same? We would have had 10 times the margin. Another belief. There's too much time on the clock. We better write some off. So team, we need to shake these limiting pricing beliefs off us and move into a different mindset shift. A different mindset. Number 1, there is always money available. It's a mindset. You think about a client that runs $1 million sales business, as in they sell $1 million a year. There's $20,000 a week washing through the system. As the accountant, you get to see the profit and loss in the balance sheet. And you said they did not make a profit. They made like 10 grand profit on $1 million or whatever, or they made just enough for salary and wages. They have no money. You see the balance sheet. They have no money. But hang on a minute. There's 20,000 a week washing through the system. The owner of that business is making a judgment call on 20,000 a week where it's allocated. They believe there's value in the salaries. They believe there's value in the lease, the vehicles, the merchandise they sell, or whatever it is they do. There's always money available. Your job is to prove your value so that they can say, I'm going to redirect 5, 10, 20,000 to you rather than where I'm currently putting it. To take that analogy a little bit further, many of you have listed and sold the family home or another property. Before you had the photographs taken by the realtor, what did you do to the property? You zhuzhed it up, right? You painted the fence, you fixed the fence, you got the kitchen fixed up, you made it look nice. You know, you've been living in this dump for 10 years, and all of a sudden you're going to sell it, you make it look better. Miraculously, $30,000 appeared because you believed that if we spend 30 on fixing it up, we'll get an extra 100 on the sell. There's always money available. Another shift. My X years of experience means I do not need an hourly rate. You are selling what you know. There are no hourly rates for you. $1 an hour. No traditional rates. You must have a mindset. There's always a better, high-paying new client around the corner. It's a mindset. I believe, and we work with firms on this, takes some time to sort it out. I believe that you should only have A-class clients, only A-class clients. There's massive value in what I do. The price should increase for speed. It's a mindset shift. Speed equals value. The price does not need to change if we delegate down, does not need to change if we delegate down. The price should keep going up until we get lots of no's. And here's my favorite mindset shift by a marketeer called Jay Abraham. He said, it is arrogant in the extreme to dictate to the marketplace what they will pay. It is arrogant in the extreme. What does that actually mean? What it means is you start with an idea, and we'll go back to these 1040s of $600, right? And you go, let's try it at 600. Let's move it to 800. See what, get the feedback. Let's move it to 1,000, get the feedback. And let the marketplace, not by asking them how much will you pay, but by altering your price, your package, and your pitch. Price, package, and pitch. By altering your price, your package, and your pitch, seeing what they're prepared to pay. And it's often, and you get to the point where that's enough. It's often changing your language as to what you're actually selling. You see, are you selling activities and inputs? Are you promoting analysis, advice, budget, cash flow, tax planning, income tax statement, meetings, valuations, consulting, structure, and time? These are inputs, activities. Or are you promoting outputs and results? Based on doing this, it'll help you increase your profit. Based on you doing this, you can grow your business with better management decisions. Based on doing this, we will help you free up some cash flow. Asset security, wealth creation, financial retirement, success, all outputs, peace of mind, lifestyle improvement, and hope. You see, team, you have been promoting the wrong thing. You've been promoting things, not promoting outputs. So we're going to shift this around and understand how we move price, because that's the topic. By the way, this is a small snippet, like 30 minutes or so, of a bigger topic, right? But I wanted to give you something that you can go into this busy season in North America, particularly, to have a different price. This is the number one question I get on price. The number one question is, so Rob, what's the right price? What is the right price to charge? April, what's your new favorite quote? I know April. Played golf with April a couple of weeks ago. New favorite quote is, thank you, April. It is arrogant in the extreme to dictate to the marketplace what they'll pay. Love that. So what's the right price? Thank you, April. What is the right price? You're gonna love this. The right price is just before no. You see, if they keep saying yes, the price is wrong. If you take that comment, it is arrogant in the extreme to dictate to the marketplace how much they'll pay, then you'll test and measure, test and measure, test and measure, test and measure. And when you get lots of no's, sticker shock, not questions, but objections, you know you've hit the ceiling. So let's do this. Let's do this for a bit of fun. 30 minutes of quick education. How high is high, I don't know. But I want you now to go, you know what? First of all, I saw that big range of prices and you were wherever you were in the chat, right? Now, based on that, what you saw, and now based on 30 minutes of thinking differently about price, put in a new one. Put in a new price that you are going to charge for the same product, this 1040 T1, $1,000. Thank you, April. Keep pump them in. Let's see what you got. 3,000. All right, I'm going to three, 1,200. Wow. Keep it going. How much for this tax season? Come up with a price. We've got threes, ones, two, 1,200. Should be an auctioneer, right? 1,400, Sarah. Cool. By the way, there's no right or wrong price. It's just what you're comfortable with. 1,000, 850. Keep it rolling. 1,000. 450. Where's 12,000? I think it's 1,200, right? I'm not too sure, right? 1,500. Let's be serious about it. 860. Cool. Thanks, Don. Keep it rolling. Just punch the number. And the number is wrong because they'll probably still say yes. The number's wrong. 1,509.50. Any more? All right. Now for a bit of fun. And some of you are nervous at this point in time. That's why you need to get some courage pills from us, right? That's okay too. So now, I want you to recalculate old price to new price, just in this 30 minutes, right? Multiplied by the approximate number of returns that you will do in the next few months. Multiply that out and stick a new number in, which is the profit increase number based on what we've just talked about. What's the profit increase just on that one product based on a straight price increase based on 30 minutes? Profit increase, calculators out, 100,000, cool. Like that number, 250. Keep it rolling, team. You are there. There's 132 of you. $1 million, April. Interesting. A lot of returns. 800,000. This is fun. Some of you are still a bit nervous about this because you're wondering what the client will think. 300 grand. Thank you, Steve. Clint, 750. Thank you. 1250. 750. Yeah, exactly. $1 million, 87,000. Don, cool. By the way, this is not about price gouging. This is making sure that the clients don't price gouge you for based on what you do. Your intellectual property, your risk, 90,000, 160, 300,000, 160, 950. Thanks, Darren. Good to see you. 75,000, pull 100,000, 300,000, and on it goes. Team, you should be rewarded for the risk that you take, the value that you add, and the smarts that you've got. And you haven't been in the past. So put the price up. Point one was a direction, moving to investor. Point two is going to be pricing. Point three. And then we'll start to wrap up. We've got 40 minutes left, so ask questions if you choose to. But this is exciting so far, right? Got a question for you. Got a question is, what is the ultimate purpose of your client relationship? What is the purpose of your client relationship? It's a rhetorical question. I'm going to not ask you to put the answer in, but I'm going to give you what I believe is the answer. And then you're going to say, do you believe in that? Yes or no, right? Here's what I believe your purpose is with your client relationship. And that is for all clients, they need to be buying every service they need that helps them achieve their goals. And by the way, I should say all clients, asterisks being all clients that you want to keep. All clients buying every service they need that helps them achieve their goals. They may not be buying it from you, but you could be facilitating it. And their goals are their financial goals. You're in the money business. You're in the numbers business. This is a mindset. Our purpose of our client relationship is to make sure they are buying from us what they need to help them. Do you agree or disagree? Just put a Y or a no in the chat. Y or a no, Y or an N in the chat. Yes or no? Do you agree? Any no's yet? You agree. Right, you agree. So, first piece is, how many clients buy every service they need that helps them achieve their goals? Typically limited. So how are we going to get to that point? We have a process called a GAP meeting, which stands for Goal Achievement Process. It is a meeting that I'm going to ask you to have over the next few months with every single client that you Zoom with or you meet with. And this meeting can be as little as 30 minutes, up to an hour, sometimes longer. And the objective of this meeting is to understand their current situation implicitly, to understand their goals, and then you go away and think about it and offer them some additional services that you could provide to help them achieve their goals. I'm going to step you through the meeting itself. one of our firms, member firms, Kevin Bassett, this is on case studies, Bassett Associates, hit $1 million profit in year 3 working with us, consistently done since then. In 2021, he did 420 sales meetings. And I questioned him because it was on our benchmark report. By the way, look out for your inbox next couple of weeks. We are launching the 2023 benchmark report based on 2022 numbers. Kevin went in last year. I queried him, 420 sales meetings, Kevin, just by you? He said, yep. I said, how did you do that? He said, well, every client interaction, I add on a gap meeting to see where else I can help them. Not just a delivery meeting. So, a systematic process of finding out where they're at now and where they want to go. Some of you are thinking, well, I'm no good at this, so what's the year? By the way, this is a sales meeting. It is a sales meeting to determine what else they need to buy from you. I'm no good at it, so what's the use? Mindset. You actually are. It's all about questions. I'm too busy. There's real work to be done. What could be more real, team, than helping your clients achieve their financial goals by serving them properly as your duty of care? I don't want to seem desperate or like a used car salesman. I'm a professional. Yes, you are. But if they're just buying statutory work from you, compliance work, the must-do, filing, lodging, government-related work, you're not doing them any favors at all. What if they say no? Well, at least you've given them a shot. You've sat down with them, you've met with them, you've talked about them, you've talked about how you can help them. And if they say no, well, that's on them. But you might get lots of no's and get discouraged. Well, that's okay too, because every no you get is closer to a yes. Again, I'm afraid what the client will think. By the way, on this meeting, they love it. At a minimum, it's an awesome customer service meeting. Mindset, I chatter. If I visit clients or meet with them, I'll come back with more work. That's the point. By the way, this is a champagne problem to have. My clients will call me when they need me. No, they won't, because they don't know what you can do. All of our clients have everything they need. No, they don't. Because you don't know them enough. If you knew them better, if you spent the time to really understand them, to have this meeting with them, you would, in fact, get to know them better and provide more to them. And by the way, I've seen firms double the fee per client by doing this. You're doing them a disservice by just offering them what they have to buy. It takes a mindset shift. And for this one, the shift is all about, you're not going to be a salesperson. You're going to be a coach. What's the difference? Salesperson tells, coach asks questions. This is all about asking questions. It's all about asking great questions in order. Making sure the DQs, decision-making is out up front, making sure the decision makers are in the meeting, understanding the BQs, background-related questions, understanding them more than you've ever thought, right? You get to see the P&L, the balance sheet, the cash balance. You get to meet with them briefly. How do you really know what's going on? You need to understand the motivation questions. What drives you? What are you looking for? Goals. You need to understand the problems, things in the way right now that you could possibly help with, unblock. You need to understand measurement-related questions, how, as you're going to work with them, tracking how you're performing against what you promised. Value, VQs-related questions, asking them, so if we did this for you, what would it mean to you? Consequence questions, if we didn't do this, what would it mean? And wrapping the meeting up with timing-related questions, which is all about understanding, when are we doing this? By the way, we're doing this over the next few months with every client you Zoom or Face meet, but you're not doing the work over the next few months. You're filling up the hopper, the pipeline for work for North American summer. So what's this meeting all about? What's the flow of the meeting? The flow. The flow of the meeting goes like this. Starts with background, moves to goals, then to issues, value, consequences, and timing. This is the meeting flow. Here is the meeting in a bit more detail. You can modify to suit. And of course, you're not going to ask all these questions of every single client. This is a pretty heavy slide. So if you're on a phone, it's going to be hard to see, probably better on a big screen. So setting the scene. Point one is the welcome. Look, Bob, Mary, we've always wanted to help. Today is about asking you a whole series of questions about where you want to take your financial life, your goals, and then discovering any immediate issues, and maybe we could help you or not. But ultimately, we want to understand more about you and what's going on. Frame the meeting. Point two, background. So you say, look, so doesn't really help. Can you tell me more about the current situation? And you know the revenue and the profit, right? But you don't know what the cash flow rating is. So you say, ask the question, so throughout the year, because we don't see your bank balance all year, on a cash flow rating from 1 to 10, 10 being awesome cash flow for you, 1 being not so good, where would you score it? Like a 3. So why would you score it like a 3? Ask the questions. What's the total debt you've got? Business, all in, credit cards, home loans, right, 1.2 million, whatever. Outside of what we see here, what other cash generating assets do you have? What's the growth rate? You would know that, of course, because you've been an accountant. Here's a really great question for an existing client. You've been a client of our firm for 10 years, but you started the business 20 years ago. What were your goals when you started out? I never asked you that question before. I was interested. I thought it would be much more ahead, more free, retired, yada, yada. How much of your time is actually is in this business? You're asking to understand the now. How well would this business operate without you? What's your current insurance cover? You may know that. How well do you think your assets are protected? When was the last time your wills were updated? Background, understanding the current situation. Understanding deeper than you've ever known before what's going on with this client. Then we're going to segue. Okay, what we've got there is what it is. Let's go to the future and let's talk about the goals. Let's talk about the next 3 to 5 years, because here we want to make sure at XYZ firm that we're helping you to achieve your financial goals. What's your revenue goal? I'd love to get to 5 mil. What's the profit goal? I'd love 500,000. Free cash flow per month. If we had 20,000 free cash flow per month, that would change our life. Debt level of half. Other assets, your time in the business and so on, and any lifestyle goals. List them down. By the way, part of this I learned from an accountant who sat, my wife and I, we changed accountants 15 years ago, and we both sat down and he drew a T on the whiteboard like that. But Rob, and my wife's name's Natalie, so Nat. Rob, Nat. And he said, Nat, you're going first. Tell me about your goals. He didn't do all this other structured stuff. It was an interesting meeting. And she said, I want this, I want this, I want this. You know what the last question he asked my wife? And by the way, this is the first meeting with the new accountant. The last question he asked her, the cheeky sod, was, do you still want to be with him? I thought, whoa, come on. Anyway, she said, yes, thankfully we're still together. Right, Rob, what do you want? Right? He took a photograph of that goal list, 1-pager on a whiteboard, and every year he would pull it out and say, well, guys, how are we tracking against the goals? I thought it was pretty cool. We're going to segue into issues. Tell us about the problems to solve. What are the 3 biggest issues in your business right now? What's the number 1 business issue you'd like to solve immediately? Often it's cash flow. What's stopping you achieve your goals that are help? You know, that's a pointed question. I'm not too sure. Can you help? Yeah, we actually can. We can help with that one. Step 5, value. We can help you solve the issue and achieve a lot of your financial goals in the next 3 to 5 years. If we could help you do that, and solve the issues, what would it mean to you? Oh, it'd be great. What do you mean? Well, the IRS would be off my back. The lifestyle would be better. We'd have more enjoyment. It'd be just fantastic. You can help us with that? Well, we can help you with 1, 2, and 3. We may need to refer out to an attorney for the wills and asset protection insurances, but we'll facilitate the whole process and help you in your business. Awesome. We start to wrap it up. Consequences. To achieve your goals and solve these issues, you'll need to do something else. What are the consequences of you not doing something different? This is a sales meeting that you're looking for a resolution. Well, the consequences are, might just not fulfill my potential and die at my desk, or, we have to do something different. Awesome. Timing to get started, to fix the current situation. Could be cash flow, could be structuring, whatever. Is this a later or sooner project to get started on? Oh, sooner rather than later. Okay, so we are right now, by the way, truthfully, we are right now in our busy season. Are you okay that we got started on this in 6 weeks' time on May 1st? That'd be fine. Follow up. What I'm going to do from here is write you a detailed implementation plan. I'm going to send that to you by close of business Friday. We'll need a chance to catch up again. You'll have some questions, and then we'll sign off on a start date from there. Is that okay with you? That's totally fine. And write some notes. This is a process flow team of asking the right questions in the right order to invoke an opportunity for you to serve your clients properly so that they achieve their financial goals. This little gap meeting piece is one module of a 9-module sales system that we have that we can train you on. Is one module. And I wanted to give it to you today because you're going to meet so many clients over the next few months. But how many meetings should we have? How many meetings should we have? Go back to the objective of the client relationship, that all clients, asterisks, of those that you want to keep, they're buying everything they need, to help them achieve their goals. That means we select that client base. We systematically meet with them year one. Maybe it's a 30, 40 hour, 1 hour meeting. We do it once. We sweep through the entire client base. We document all of their goals. For many, we would provide something additional. Years ago, Rick from 3 years ago, Rick from Kentucky, in year one, he said, Rob, I'm at 99%. I said, 99% of what? He said, 99% of the clients I've met with bought something additional. I said, really? The next year, he sent me an email and said, got it to 100%. That straggler, got it 100%. If you spend more time asking questions, more time quizzing them about background, goals, problems, and have your ears open for potential things you could help them with, they'll be buying more from you and you'll be helping them and they'll love you for it. If they don't, then that's okay too. That's all right as well. Because if they don't, then you've done a great customer service meeting. So once a year, first of all, sweep through the entire client base. Then we move it to an annual general meeting where you're discussing last year, discussing the year ahead. You're pulling out that goals list like my old accountant did with me. And you're helping them buy something additional. Gap meetings. How many? 420 like Kevin Bassett did. Every single client that you want to keep, systematically. You got 240 clients, that's 20 a month. That's only one a day. Do your clients a favor. Do a gap meeting with them. Are we liking this? Give me some love, give me some feedback. Any questions? How are we going so far? We've got some time for questions. If you want questions, I'll have a drink of water. Yes, love it. Thank you. We've got some feedback of great and yes. Wendy, I'm going to get you to put that meeting link in soon when I tell you to do that. If you get that ready, please. For some reason, my co-conspirator Wendy here didn't make it with me, so I'm solo today. So it's two of us that work with you, Wendy Miller and myself. It's amazing. We like that. Cool. All right. So team, at the start, I mentioned this is a journey. And this is a journey of you moving from, hello, Wendy, you moving from practice owner, if that's where you are at, that's where you're at, right? Where you're grinding out, still working in it. The money's okay, but you got less time. Moving to business owner, we flip the switch, more working on than working in, and now we start to make great money and more time. And then over time, we turn you and help you become an investor. an owner, not an operator, if you choose to, your choice. But at least get to business owner and create generational wealth. It's that 1, 2, 3 jump. With this, we help you to change the way your firm operates so that you move through these levels or stick to the level that you want to stick with. And the model, as I said at the start, is changing operations, the day-to-day operations, changing the way you allocate and use time, enhancing some clients, changing others, finding great people, enhancing the people, making sure you've got A-class players only, and you'd enthusiastically rehire them all. Come up with a product list that is scalable, a product list that is documented, and when I say scalable, non-reliant on partners as much. Growing your business, top-line revenue and profitability to whatever size you want. I had a meeting with Brett Kelly about 3 months ago. I said, Brett, what's up? I haven't spoken to you for 10 years. He said, I want to give you an update. He's an investor. He said, when you coached us years and years ago, we were $1 million in revenue. Now, you remember that? He said, we've grown 32% every year since. We're now $83 million in revenue in a public company. He grew it to a size systematically over a number of years that he wanted to. Leadership, driving leadership, driving execution, lasercution, strategy. What's the vision? Momentum, getting team engagement, meeting rhythms, solving issues. So how do you actually implement this? How do you implement this model? There are 3 pieces to the puzzle. Number 1 is coaching. Number 2 is going to be content. And coaching and content is one thing, but you need a third piece as well, and that's community. If you've got community and content, you'll get some help. But if you've got community, content, and coaching, you'll go much faster. And the objective is to go as fast as possible. And that's where we help you, right? When you implement our system, our process, things change. You first of all transform your profit. You transform your cash. You transform your revenue. You transform your team, your clients, your lifestyle. You transform your wealth and yourself as well. Things change, and it's based on your implementation effectiveness and speed. We provide you a lot of content. We do these webinars for free. You can go to a website and you can get some tools, books, lots of videos, free content. We want to give you free content. But content only doesn't last. I wanted to give you 3 things today. 1, a mindset for the future. Practice owner, business owner, investor. That's a mindset and a thought pattern. 2, some quick hits on pricing. And 3, a format called a gap meeting. That is content, right? And you'll go ahead and do that. You might not continue it, but you'll make some money on it, right? And as you said, 150, 200,000, 600,000, awesome, right? Well done. But to really transform, this is where we come into it with the community of peer-to-peers, coaching by myself and Wendy Miller, and then real good content, right? More content, more process. You've got a choice from here. You can do nothing. You go, that was a nice webinar, had a bit of a laugh, good afternoon, right? Do nothing. You may be totally comfortable where you are. You can do a little on your own. Or with our help, we can transform with personal coaching, how-to content, a peer-to-peer community, and implementation support. We would like to help a few of you. As I said at the start, our unhidden agenda, we want to help 8 firms right now. So if you are over $1 million in revenue, 1 to 5 aligned partners, you're ambitious and coachable, let's meet to see if we can help. Wendy, just pop the details in the chat or use the QR code as well. Even during this busy season, we can get you on the right track, help you get more efficient. You've got the time to do it, would you believe? And even get you some people that are going to help transform your busy season as well. Let's meet. Let's see if we can help. Hopefully you've enjoyed this webinar. There's a lot in it. There's a lot of thinking in this. regardless, with this price changes you're going to make some extra money, which is awesome. Very happy about that. And if you do the GAP meetings, then you're also going to really help your clients. They're going to love you for it. So team, that's all I've got. As I said before, stay tuned. The next couple of weeks, you'll get an email regarding the benchmark report where we're going to survey and pitch you against other firms to see which KPIs we need to change and modify. Got a really cool thing called a sustainability index. If we'd like to meet, then let's meet. And if not, have a wonderful tax season. We'll join you on the next webinar. I'm not too sure when that is, but either way, yes, Dan, you'll get an email with the slides and the replay as well. So you can go through that, but you'll have the slides so you can blow up that GAP meeting template. And all the best, team. Have fun. See you later. See you next time. And webinar is over. All the best.
Life will never be